I get what people say with Restore. I mean, they had 10 candidates in Great Yarmouth and won all 10. There's something going on there. The Rupert Lowe Restore movement, you know, it's full of patriots. They know what they want for the country, and it seems Rupert Lowe can offer that. But when it comes to Makerfield, I think I caught you saying about splitting the vote, and I can't stand it when people say that because it's always used out of context. But in this context, I think you may well be right, and that is what could give Andy Burnham and Labour the foot in the door. So I believe Restore, Advance, stay out of it, nothing to do with you. Get on with Reform. Everyone vote Reform and just ruin it for Labour, because Andy Burnham as Prime Minister, you don't want that.
No, I mean, I think, boys, I'll put this question to both of you. We'll go with John first. I mean, look, from Rupert's viewpoint, and knowing Rupert as we do, and he's never say die attitude, he's I don't care, you know, he's a brash, bold man, and a lot of people like that, myself included. You know, Rupert's argument is probably going to be something like, well, no, we're a serious political party. We're not here to take part. We're here to take over. So, you know, that will probably be his view. And to some degree, I suppose you'd have to say, well, he's right. If they want to, you know, be where they want to be, then why not? Why not stand?
I get that, and to be honest, they're on a high at the moment. I mean, they obviously only stood candidates in the Great Yarmouth area in the local elections and absolutely smashed it, 10 out of 10. It doubled the turnout in the area. All of their candidates were getting between 40 and 50%. So I would imagine that from a success point of view, they really feel that they're flying at the moment, and they see this as a good opportunity to go again on the back of that. I totally understand it. And at some point, if you are going to be a serious political party, then you've got to draw a line in the sand and say, no, we're going to stand on our own 2 feet and we go from here. So I totally understand that. I just think that this by-election, if it happens, is a bit of a one-off event, because it is a chance to really, really kick the Labour Party and the Labour government very firmly in the balls. Because if Burnham gets defeated, it leaves them in a really, really difficult situation. And so, listen, as with all of these things, I don't know which way to go. I don't know which way to jump. I can see it from both points of view. And from Rupert's point of view as well, he was treated so appallingly by Reform. He was stitched up so much in terms of the accusations against him about the police raid on his house, etc. It's very easy for us to say as outsiders, no, he should be the bigger man, he should step aside. But if someone had done that to me, if someone had done that to you, Paul, I'm sure you wouldn't be so keen to just shake hands and get on with things. You're going to want to fight back. So I totally understand it from his perspective. And it's quite easy for us to say, we'll put that to one side and look at the bigger picture. But actually, it probably is quite personal as well.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, John. But what I will say is that when it comes to the country, sod the personal stuff, right? This isn't about Nigel Benn. This isn't about Nigel Farage versus. I'm thinking boxing for a moment. My brain had a flip. This isn't Nigel Farage versus Rupert Lowe. This is, you know, good versus evil. You know, we got, and I mean, look, I'll ask you guys the questions. If we'll all answer the question. So if we're in, let's say we're eligible to vote in Makerfield, if that takes place, Rupert standing a candidate, Advance a standing a candidate, and Reform a standing a candidate, I'll tell you now, I'm voting Reform. I mean, who would you guys be voting for?
Yeah, Reform. 100%.
Yeah, probably grit my teeth and cross my fingers behind my back and still vote Reform, I think, probably.
And for one reason only, not because that's necessarily what we want, it's because it's the best chance of giving Labour a political black eye. And that's what people have to come to terms with. So I think Ben and Rupert would be not advised, who am I to advise them, but I think the people will judge them more fondly if they were big enough to stand aside and go, do you know what? Right at this very moment, the most important thing is that Burnham is defeated. So let's all get behind. They haven't even got to mention Reform. They haven't even got to mention Nigel Farage. All they've got to do is say, get behind the candidate that stands the best chance of beating Labour, and we all know who that is.
Yeah, well, this is just a by-election, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
not the general election. It's a by-election. So in this instant, yeah, grit your teeth, do what needs to be done. I mean, you've got to remember, all around Makerfield, Reform won seats. I think, is it 10, 11 areas all around it? It's all Reform. So who is most likely to win? So why would you put someone in like Restore or even Advance and start taking votes away from Reform when, like you say, this is the ultimate kick between the legs, and Restore could end up ruining that? And I assume the diehard Restore fans will be like, oh, well, whatever, it won't really waver much. But in the political landscape, a lot of people like us who sort of look into it will be like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? So...
yeah, I think to be fair, I think it will be a mistake. Let me just read this out. Lovely Claire Bear. Thank you, Claire. Have a great day, everyone. Stay safe and ignoring the idiots. Wave your flags and let them know you're there to enjoy. Thank you for that. Good boy, Piss Morgan versus Tiki Toki round 2, please. Ronnie Rams gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so much for that. The end of the day. At the end of the day, we always win. Morning, Mr. Thorpe. Be safe and proud tomorrow. Much love to all. Unity is paramount. Absolutely. It is indeed paramount. And that is what we're talking about right now. Andrew, Restore Britain Restore Britain mean well, but not enough members or voters to elect them. Certainly not at the moment. Maybe in the future, who knows? I mean, it's going to be... I think there are a lot of Restore supporters out there who are, with all due respect, completely unaware of the task or the size of the task ahead for Rupert and his team, particularly, in my opinion, and I've said this numerous times over the last few weeks, when his team appears to be at least so small and inexperienced. When you look at the infrastructure compared to Reform, it is on a different league. Whether they can replicate that and overtake it or not, I don't know. Wiz, what do you reckon?
Anything's possible, but it's too early. I think Restore are definitely a party of the future, without a doubt. There's something with Rupert Lowe. I first come out, I was like, oh, Rupert Lowe, he can't run a football club. How can he run a country and all that? And, you know, I was sort of getting me sort of back up because I was hoping for Ben Habib and Advance and all this. And, yeah, Advance lost my membership. Excuse me. I bought some products. They sent me a cup. The handle was broken and they didn't care. I thought, if you don't care, look, I'm not lying, ladies and gents. Look, I've got no handle. You done nothing. They didn't even come back to it. I thought, do you know what? If you can't look after me for the sake of a fiver on a cup, and
it's harmless.
Yeah, literally. But that's right. I've got my lovely bubbly cup instead. Come on, Del Boy. But I think, yeah, Restore for the future. But for now, I think people need to be realistic. Yes, do what you're doing on X and everything. Yeah, we're all up for Rupert Lowe. I'm always retweeting Restore Britain stuff. Yes, it's there. But even Nigel Farage said, I think about a month ago, oh, when it comes to general election, we're about 50% ready. So what does that mean for Restore? Are they 0.1% ready? You have to be realistic. And yes, you can say, oh, I'm diehard Rupert Lowe. But like say in Makerfield, they might not have anyone there. So who would you vote for? So you need to sort of wake up and say, right, yeah, they're for the future. Good. Put them to one side. What have I got in front of me? What can I do that will benefit the country now? And that, ladies and gents, I'm afraid, like the gentleman said below me, bite your lip, Nigel Farage, dunk.
Yeah, I'm afraid that's the way it is. That is the reality of where we are. Thank you, Judy. We march for you all tomorrow. Unite the right, and that's what it's about. Uniting everyone. The thing is, John, is, you know, as I've been saying, look, right now it doesn't really matter who you support, whether it's Reform, Restore, Advance, even the Tories. It doesn't matter. What does matter is that we are ready and prepared for this Battle of Britain. that's coming our way. This political battle of Britain that's coming our way. And it's very simple. If we're not prepared, if we haven't trained for it, if we're not ready to go, and if we're not organised, we're going to lose. So it doesn't really matter who you support. That is the unifying message.
I think you're right, but I think we also do run the danger of focusing a little bit too much on the negatives of what might go wrong, of the fact that we might split the vote, of the fact that we might not be prepared. We also have to look at the positives. If you go back 3-4 years, we weren't even close to where we are now. If you look at what's going to happen tomorrow, there's going to be, who knows how many people on the streets, but my guess would be anything from 500,000 to 2 million. It's going to be absolutely immense. Not only is it going to be immense, but it's starting to get slightly more positive press coverage.
Yes.
I mean, GB News has never, ever been on Tommy's side, has never given it positive coverage. Presenter after presenter after presenter over the last few days has been talking about it in at least neutral terms, if not semi-positive terms. Yeah. Reform are flying in the polls. Restore has come from nowhere and won Great Yarmouth. Ben Habib is getting recognition. So I understand that we need to sort of worry about how we're going to take this forward, but we should also recognise what's been achieved. Patriotism is now no longer a dirty word, which it was. They tried to tar it with being racist and xenophobic and bigoted, but I think that's been put to bed. And waving these flags like I've got behind me now is no longer considered, well, in some cases it is, but it's not so much of a crime as it was. We've made a lot of ground. We're starting to change people's opinions. I'm an atheist. I'm not into religion, but Christianity is making a comeback. We're pushing back against sort of the rise of Islam. There's a lot of positives as well. There's a lot of things we should recognise. There's a lot of things that all of us that are involved in this should give ourselves a bit of a pat on the back about now and then, because a lot has been achieved in a relatively short space of time. And they say a week's a long time in politics. 3 years potentially is a very long time. So who knows where we'll be in 18 months, 2 years, 3 years. So I do understand we've got concerns. I do understand that we need to unite the right, unite the West, but we're making ground, and we're making ground fast. And I think I'd rather be on our side than on the Labour side at the moment.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I think we've made massive strides forward over the last 2 or 3 years. It's been immense, but it's down to a lot of hard work from a lot of people. Well, I just want to play a little short video that I made last night, guys. Please excuse this interruption. This was my message last night to a lot of people. The video's had good views, and I think this message is quite important. Rather than say it again, I'll just play the video. So on Saturday, hundreds of thousands of magnificent patriots will take to the streets of central London, and we simply must win the day. Victory for us patriots is vital. Victory for those of us who love our country is an absolute necessity at the weekend. So what does that victory look like? Well, let me ask you a few questions. Do you detest this Labour government? If the answer is yes, then make sure that you behave. Do you detest Keir Starmer? If the answer to that is yes, then make sure you behave. Do you want to shame the BBC and Sky News? Yes? Then let's make sure that nobody gives them what they want. Do you want to show the difference between us and the other march that's taking place at the same time in London? If the answer to that is yes, then let's show the world how much better we are and lead by example with exemplary behaviour. Have you been pleased that politicians like Nigel Farage, Rupert Lowe, Ben Habib, Layla Cunningham and Matt Goodwin have all spoken out in defence of this event over the last few days? Yes? Well then let's embrace and encourage even more of that support for the future. And both GB News and Talk TV, along with their guests, have shown a much more positive attitude towards this event. Let's make sure that continues and it grows. And the only reason they've shown that support is that our behaviour over the last few events has been wonderful. Only we can make this happen with exemplary behaviour and a friendly attitude towards the police, showing them that we are all on the same side, the right side. On Saturday, the nation unites for all the right and peace-loving reasons. Let's make sure we leave all the hatred and any appalling behaviour to the other side. So let's unite the kingdom, let's unite the right, and make sure you register to vote.
beneath one flag on the British sky.
So that was the message last night, guys. You know, at the end of the day, our behaviour tomorrow, everyone's behaviour tomorrow is absolutely vital. We must not give the mainstream media, Keir Starmer and his cohorts, we mustn't give them anything to use as ammunition against us. Do you agree, Wiz?
Definitely. Well, the last march, September the 13th, that went, as far as I know, that was absolute minimal.
Yeah.
What, 4 or 5 arrests, because of some could claim that the police, etc., are trying to agitate the situation like they do to get a reaction. But the only thing that worries me, if the Nakba 78 march, the Palestine Solidarity Campaign, sort of blends, shall I say blends, or meets up with the UTK, there without doubt will be trouble, because there's not, you know, they're not all just going to stand there and talk, and a lot of it, I don't believe it will be the UTK that actually start that. That's why the Palestinian so-called supporters are there. We've seen what they've done in the past, and you know, any sort of protest or whatever, Navy bases or air base, I should say, and you know, they're up to do anything and everything. I think your message is spot on, and I believe those who stand with Tommy Robinson are not violent thugs. They're not racist. They're there well, the clue's there. Unite the kingdom. Oh, it's divisive. What? Where did that narrative come from? I mean, I don't get it. So yes, I stand with what you say. I stand and I believe in all those who are going to support Tommy Robinson. And I think it's the Palestine supporters. They could be the trouble.
John?
Yeah, I mean, I was at September the 13th last year. I couldn't even get to Whitehall because I was sort of towards the back of the crowd. The trouble that there was last year was mostly people that couldn't get into the main areas. It was so huge, it spilled over, and the police lost control, and you ended up people wandering around different areas trying to get to the march. And because of that, they bumped into some of the opposition, or they got sort of kettled in by the police, and it kicked off a little bit. But to put that into perspective, nobody knows how many people were there, but I think there were 22 arrests in total on that day.
Yeah.
The Notting Hill Carnival, which was 2 weeks earlier, I think it was 492 arrests. Yeah. So listen, I'm a realist. Undoubtedly, there will be some flare-ups tomorrow. Undoubtedly, there'll be a few punches thrown. Undoubtedly, there'll be a little bit of trouble. But that just happens in any massive crowd. If you go to any football match any weekend when it's 40, 50, 100,000 people, you get a few people that get the ump with each other and throw some fists. So the problem is, it's the way it's focused upon by the media, because they won't put it in context. They won't cover it fairly.
There'll be no context. That's the thing, John. There'll be no context.
Et cetera.
Yeah. I mean, there's going to be probably 8-10 times the amount of people tomorrow in London that there are at the FA Cup final taking place on the same day, and there'll probably be more arrests at the Cup final than there are at the United Kingdom event, but that won't even get a mention. That's the bottom line. And what I will say is, I think, you know, look, Tommy and his team have made a point of saying to the police, we don't want to see the opposition. We don't even want to see it. Whereas the opposition, they're demanding that they're within sight.
Yeah, they want to come and confront.
Yeah, they're the agitators. They're the ones wearing the masks. Hence the reason why the police are probably not bothering with facial recognition, because the bugs are always covered up anyway, right? So what's the point in wasting your time facial recognition? I mean, they should be made to remove those masks, in my humble opinion. I mean, our side, we say no masks, right? No masks, don't wear your mask. You're not wanted. If you're going to cover your face up, don't come. In stark contrast to the other side, who are clearly there, in my humble opinion, for nothing more than trouble and to cause trouble. But I think the police will do a good job tomorrow. There's certainly plenty enough of them to prevent any coming together. And I hope sincerely that it will go off as the last 4 or 5 events have gone off, with minimal events, minimal arrests, and for the sheer weight and numbers of people that are going to be there, remarkably low arrest figures. I just hope, for me, the situation always boils down to the police in the respect that as soon as the police start putting their riot helmets on, that's like a red flag to a bull. I think the British people have had enough of being attacked by our own police services. The last few events, certainly the last one that I was at, it was a remarkably friendly and respectful atmosphere between the police and the people, to the point where when we left, we was thanking the police officers, thanking them for their time, thanking them for their protection on the day. They were responsive, respectful. So fingers crossed, it'll all turn out to be a good one. That's my hope.
The actual the routes they've got. I mean, I do not know London that well, but I've got up that the UTK starts at King's Cross, St Pancras, or Euston, and it's going through Aldwych Strand and Parliament Square, and obviously that's where it ends at Parliament Square. But the Palestine, a country that doesn't exist, absolute horrible people. Bit biased there, aren't I? They end at Pall Mall, but they're going to go through Brompton Road, Hyde Park Corner, and Piccadilly before reaching Waterloo Place. Now, I don't know London, so is that anywhere near, or is that close? Or
look, I mean, when you're in that part of central London, you're always fairly close, especially when there's that number of people in the area. But the bottom line is that the police are not stupid. They've got helicopters. They've got, I think, 4,000 officers at the event tomorrow. And if any coming together does happen, I think the police are going to have a lot of questions to answer. There's no way. I mean, look, this is an organisation that is used to keeping rival football supporters, for an example, apart, and they're very adept at it now, They're experts at it. It's not like it was back in the 70s. And even the 80s, they know how to keep two groups apart. And I would be utterly amazed if there was any coming together of any note tomorrow. You might get the one or two odd rows, but I think from our side, certainly, the writing is on the wall, and it's been there for years now, is that people know if they misbehave, they're going to get their door kicked in. Now, it might not be on Saturday. They if they want to start throwing cans of beer or misbehaving, they may not get arrested tomorrow, but they're going to get arrested on Wednesday or Thursday next week, or the week after, or the week after that. They're going to get their doors kicked in. The simple message is, behave yourself, and you haven't got to worry about your door getting kicked in. If there is any provocation, smile and rise above it. Let them be the ones that get their doors kicked in a couple of weeks, not us.
I think that's 100% correct. Tommy's not stopped this week putting out messages saying exactly that, saying bring your smiles, bring your flags, do not rise to the provocation. Even if you're being not necessarily attacked, but being provoked, laugh at them. We've done this in conjunction with the police. The police are on our side. Don't turn up pissed. Don't wear face masks. The message couldn't have been put out there any more firmly. And of course, if you've got 1 million people, you're going to get half a dozen or a dozen or 20 that disobey that. Of course you are. That's just human nature. But the reality is the vast majority of that crowd are not going there to cause trouble. The two marches, my understanding is the closest point they get to each other is about 3/4 of a mile to a mile apart from each other. Yeah. Now you could easily get people. Yeah, you could easily get people straying off the routes. You could get people particularly from the other one, coming to try and stir up and cause some trouble at our one. That probably will happen. But as you say, Paul, apparently there's 4,000 old Bill on duty in London tomorrow. That's a lot of police. So you'd like to think they will have that covered and that they'll have all the routes blocked off.
Well, for anyone that's worried about that, I mean, the last event I went to, I never saw or heard one counter demonstrator, not one.
Yeah. Not
a single one all day. The police brought them in a different route, and they took them out in a different route. So the work they did was brilliant. The Truth Seeker, thank you. Keep up the good work, brother. You put so much into this, and we are behind you 100%, Paul. Thank you very much, mate. I appreciate that. Way NFFC. That's Nottingham Forest Football Club for anyone that doesn't know. I'll be there tomorrow. I was gutted when Rupert and Reform split. Reform for now, restore for the future once the infrastructure is in place. I think that is a very mature way of looking at things. The amateur photographer, thank you so much, mate. Looking forward to seeing you soon. Bring your smiles and humour tomorrow. See you there. Great stuff. Appreciate that. Numbers tomorrow. What are we expecting, boys? I think that we're looking at anywhere between, I think we could be looking up to about 500,000 people.
Yep. That's about
it's very hard to tell, isn't it? Who do you believe? My understanding is that UTK have rented their own helicopter this time. And therefore they're going to be able to do a flyover along the entire route, and they will hopefully then be able to estimate the numbers a little bit better, and it's going to be a lot tougher for the mainstream media to say there was 110,000 there like they lied about last time. But I agree, it could be, I think it will be upwards of 500,000, my personal view is. But who knows?
Let's hope so. I mean, look, Tommy deserves it. Everyone deserves it. The nation deserves it. And what people have got to remember is, you know what, all these lovely people that have spent their money, taking their time, putting themselves out, going to this event, they're not just going for themselves, they're going for you. They're going for everyone. They're going for your kids. They're going for your grandkids. They're going for the country's future. So for me, every single man, woman and child that turns up tomorrow deserves a big round of applause
100%.
for doing what they can for everyone else within our nation. And I really, really mean that. And frankly, I feel ashamed of myself that I'm not going to be there. I actually really do feel quite ashamed of myself. The problem is that I know that if I went and jumped on a plane right now, I could hop on a plane in Alicante, be in London by 7 or 8 o'clock. They're probably going to keep me all night and all day Saturday. It's just a waste of time, you know. It's just a waste of time, but it is what it is. Yeah, Alex says 100,000 max, so I think you will be very surprised. Very surprised. Yeah.
Not a clue.
No.
Yeah. We can win this on an intellectual level. I think we are winning it on an intellectual level. Absolutely, absolutely we are. And I think as well as praising those people that will be there tomorrow, I think we should also shame those that have done their level best to ruin tomorrow, to ruin the reputation of the organisers and the event, and to try and turn people off of going. I mean, shame on them. What the hell do they think they're achieving? What do they think they're doing? But that's their prerogative, right? Good luck to them, you know, unbelievable.
I've got a feeling, I reckon probably more people at the UTK event know more about Palestine, Islam and the truth than those going to the Nakba 78 march.
Yeah.
Hence why they're on the right side of history.
Exactly. Yeah, the 100,000 comment was sarcasm. Got it. Yeah.
Oh,
Fair enough.
that's good.
Thank you, Angelina. Appreciate that.
I'm fortunate enough to be part of the official media tomorrow, so I'm going to be out and about in the crowd and interviewing a lot of the crowd. And one of my questions is very much going to be, why have you come? What's prompted you to come? What's prompted you to, particularly if people, because there are people coming from Scotland, from Wales, from Ireland, from Cornwall, from Devon, that have travelled a long way and put a lot of effort into it. So I'm interested in finding out what has inspired them and motivated them to get off their couch, spend the money, pay for petrol, pay for hotel bills, whatever it might be. Yeah. What is it that they see in this? What is it they want to achieve? And that's going to be interesting to find out why this feeling is arising and why these people are taking these actions.
Yeah.
Well, they're supporting racism, bigotry, you know, they're supporting all of it. They want to be divisive. They don't stand for the country. They want to vote for the powers of Gaza in local elections. I mean, what more do you need to know? I mean, blimey, you know, Tommy Robinson, it's not even his real name. Oh, you know,
What, like David Paulden?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Guys,
yeah. Oh, mate. Yeah.
anyone that's thinking of going tomorrow, let me just tell you, from someone that's been there, seen it, worn the t-shirt, been amongst it, let me tell you something. You will never experience the euphoria and the feeling of unity like you will at an event like this. It is absolutely, you can reach out and touch it. It is just beautiful.
Yeah.
And I remember very distinctly the demo before last, I think, or not the demo, the event before last, I think. I set off and I looked down, and as far as I could see in front of me was a sea of patriots, of Welsh flags, Northern Irish flags, English flags, Scottish flags, Union Jacks, and I burst into tears. It was literally too much. The emotion of the day, the emotion of that moment. There were bagpipes playing. It gives me goosebumps just thinking about it. That was a moment that will never, ever, ever leave me. Unbelievable moment.
I don't think we get that a lot in this country, and I think we've lost it sadly over recent years and recent decades. And you're right, it gets the heart thumping. It gets you get a lump in your throat. It is like that because you feel like you belong to something, and that's not a very common feeling, unfortunately, anymore. Funnily enough, I'm a big football supporter, and I've been to football matches, and I've sometimes felt it occasionally at big occasions in football matches. And I know that's probably nowhere near as important as this, but you do get that sense of belonging sometimes in a crowd. But you're right, I've been on the last 3 or 4 events of Tommy's, and they've grown and grown and grown, and you do get exactly that feeling. And that's why anyone who's still sitting on the fence, who's watching this, that's prevaricating about whether to come tomorrow, do come. You will love it. You'll have an amazing, amazing time.
Absolutely.
And watch all the flags. Those flags, they're just Islamophobic, mate. Islamophobic.
when you go there, what my advice to anyone going tomorrow, particularly if it's their first time, is when you get there, just for a moment, stop, take a deep breath, and look around and take it all in. It's the nearest you will ever come to an almost spiritual experience with your own nation, with your country. It is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane.
Don't just see it, feel it.
Feel it. Yeah, absolutely. Just feel it. Take it all in, suck it in. And the thing that set me off at that event was, for that moment, I had almost a spiritual feeling, a connection with our past, our history, our forefathers, our beautiful veterans that have stood and died in the trenches. And it's just such an emotional feeling. You can feel it tomorrow, guys, for yourself. Just give it a try, honestly. You will be amazed. You will be amazed. Guys, we've been on for an hour and a half. I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for coming on. I am going to play a little outro this afternoon, slightly different to our usual one. I might end with the beautiful song that everyone likes. I'm just going to say thank you to Wiz. Thanks for coming on, mate. Really appreciate that.
A pleasure, mate.
Good to
Thanks
see you, brother. My pleasure. John, thank you so much, mate. All the best for tomorrow. Have a great day. Have a safe day. And,
thanks, mate. Thanks for inviting me on, and I'll speak to you again very soon.
Perfect, mate. Take care. All the best, John. Thank you very much. That's John there. I think we're going to play out today on this rather stunning piece of music, which always sets the scene for me perfectly. Whenever I hear this, always gives me goosebumps. Let's play out on this today.
to Scotland's hills, from valleys wide to Ulster's will. The drums are sounding, the call is near, for every patriot to gather here. Four nations, one kingdom, together we rise, beneath one flag under British skies. We will not bend or compromise. Four nations united before your eyes, our voices thunder, our banners fly. Four nations, one kingdom till we die. Four nations,
They tried to break what we became, to turn our love to doubt and shame. We've led as one through many wars, defending home, our sacred shores, through crown and cross, through grief and pride. All four nations side by side.
four nations, one kingdom, together we rise, beneath one flag under British skies. We will not bend or compromise. Four nations united before your eyes, our voices thunder, our banners fly. Four nations, one kingdom till we die. England stand proud, Scotland stand tall. We'll breathe fire, Ulster give all. This is our land, our truth, our sound. Together we stand, together we belong. Four nations, one kingdom, forever we'll stand, bound by honor, heart and hound. Let them curse, let them conspire, for we are one through blood and fire. We are the lion, the dragon, the hand, the unicorn, the heartbeat of Britain unite.